Avatar 1, when that first came out, was basically compared to Pocahontas very often. It was talking about colonization and whatnot, and it was following that whole storyline. Now, apparently, it's been confirmed. Now, I don't really know 100% because, like I said, this is just production notes, but it's been confirmed by the production notes that Avatar The Way of the Water appeared to confirm film would push climate change and colonization propaganda. Now, the whole colonization propaganda thing, I can see that being true because the first one pushed it. So if the first one pushed it, why would it surprise anyone that the second one would not push the same exact thing? But apparently now they're going to be pushing the whole climate change thing. Now, I wouldn't be surprised that's the truth, considering Cameron is pretty woke, it seems. You know, he has this whole anti thing against testosterone and toxic masculinity and all that stuff. And once you have people making those certain talking points, you kind of know where their ideologies fall, right? But when it comes to Cameron, obviously he does great movies. The guy has a lineage of fantastic movies under his belt. There's no denying that he is a fantastic director, and he is going to make probably a good movie, okay? I'm just going to flat out say it. Avatar The Way of the Water will probably still end up being a very good movie. Is it going to do as well as the first one? Hell no, I don't think that's even possible, considering because the first one had so much going for it at the time, different technology advances. I just don't think the second one is going to pull off the same kind of numbers. But I do think they're going to rely on the fact that they're going to release multiple movies to try to make up for the lack of the money coming in from the first one compared to the second one. Because they already have number 3 and number 4 planned, and I think some of them are already filmed already. I think number 3 is already filmed or getting filmed. I'm not really sure. So with that being said, let's continue and see exactly what's going on here. So it says, production notes for Avatar The Way of the Water appear to confirm the film would push both climate change and colonization propaganda. In the production notes provided by the Walt Disney Company to Bounding into Comics, it provides significant details regarding the plot of the film. The notes state heroic Jake Sully, having begun Avatar as a paraplegic Marine, grieving the death of his twin brother and desperately searching for a new path, now begins the Way of the Water as the happily married patriarch of his family and the head of the Omaticaya clan, fully inhabiting his Navi body. Family is our fortress, he often reminds wife Neytiri and their children Nitiyam, Loyak, and Tuk, and adopted teenage daughter Kiri. Much to Jake and Neytiri's chagrin, their kids often hang out with Spider, a human child orphaned by the war and too small at the time to return to Earth, it adds. It goes on, the Omaticaya clan has lived a rather idyllic life for more than a decade before a growing star in the night sky signals the return of the human invaders. When human forces and massive destruction equipment land on Pandora, Sully and the rest of the Omaticaya are forced to create a secure stronghold in a giant cavern located within one of the massive floating rock formations that are part of the Hallelujah Mountains. The notes then appear to signal that the film would be pushing climate change and colonization propaganda. So like I said, before we get into it, I would not be surprised if this is the case, man, because Avatar, as it is, has always been that kind of movie. There's no denying it. You can't pretend like they're changing something, completely different from what they were already doing. The first Avatar was 100% a colonization story kind of push, okay? It was like a lot of people were comparing it to Pocahontas. It was essentially the same thing, just with blue people. So I wouldn't be surprised if climate change was going to be the next thing on the agenda for them. It just doesn't. This doesn't shock me. Okay, that's what I want. That's what I basically want to say. This doesn't shock me. No matter how stupid it is, it doesn't shock me at all. It says they read the Sky People returned to Pandora not just to run a mining operation to strip the moon of valuable material known as unobtainium. Instead, the Resources Development Administration returns in force with the added objective to colonize the entire moon and make it a new home for humanity, as Earth is on the precipice of no longer being inhabitable. Destroying a large swath of the forest, the RDA erects a giant walled city on the ocean's edge called Bridgehead, leading the RDA on-world assets in unyielding General Francis Ardmore. It adds, the climate change propaganda is baked into the premise that the Earth is somehow doomed and has become inhabitable in the decade or so since the first film. It's not hard to make the assumption that the reason for that will be climate change, the current trendy phrase used by NASA and others to describe what they used to call global warming, or humanity being the root cause of rise in global temperatures. I gotta admit, if they make climate change the sole reason why humanity is trying to inhabit the moon, that's going to be pretty weak, in my opinion. You know, like, give me something epic. Give me something interesting. Don't start talking about climate change like you're the gay Superman comic book. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna lose a lot of people, I'm sure. It says, as for the colonization propaganda, it's right there in RDA's goals. They want to colonize the entire moon, and it's no surprise that the colonizers will be depicted as the villains. This goes along with the current regime narrative that colonialism is bad. Then it says, in 2017, Nathan J. Robinson in Current Affairs detailed this narrative, writing, perhaps the easiest way to understand why colonialism was so horrific is to imagine it happening in your own country now. It is invaded, conquered, and occupied by a foreign power. Existing governing institutions are dismantled and replaced by absolute rule of the colonizers. A strict hierarchy separates the colonized and the colonizer. You are treated as an inconvenient subhuman who can be abused at will. The colonists commit crimes with impunity against your people. Efforts at resistance are met with brutal reprisal, sometimes massacre. The more vividly and accurately you manage to conjure what this scenario would actually look like, the more horrified you would be by the very idea of colonialism. However, while indeed many of the actions of colonizers are heinous and immoral, the act of colonizing in and of itself is not. Dr. Anna Maria Cardinali writes in Ascension Press, was there military brutality in the conquest of the Americas? Yes, as there is, unfortunately, in almost all human conflict. Did Catholic settlers mistreat Native Americans, and is this hypocritical in the light of their professed faith? Tragically and horrifically, yes. Did Catholic settlers free Native Americans from oppression? The answer here is also yes. A giant, resounding yes, which saw to the salvation of lives and souls on an unprecedented scale. So basically, if you guys want to read more into this, Bounding kind of goes into the stuff that was read about colonialism. I'm not going to go too deep into it. You guys get the point regarding that, but let's see what it says further about the movie. So it says it's unclear whether or not The Way of the Water will have any of this complexity as the production notes continue. In addition to having an armada of weaponized land, air, and sea vehicles at their disposal, the RDA has brought with them a secret weapon, an elite team of soldiers resurrected as recombinants, recoms, or autonomous avatars embedded with the memories of the humans whose DNA was used to recreate them. Leading this fighting force is Recom Colonel Miles Quaritch. Now, Miles Quaritch, okay, just a cat's out the bag, Miles Quaritch, I believe, initially died in the first movie. So this is their way of basically bringing him back to life. No shocker that they were going to bring the big bad from the first movie back to life in the second movie to try to get people's emotions going again. It says the notes state, as the Olokitan leader of the Omatakaya, Jake successfully leads the warriors of the clan on incursions against the RDA. However, when Jake realizes that he himself is in fact the target of Quaritch's recon team, he and Neytiri make the tough decision that it's in the best interest of the greater clan for the Sullys to flee their homeland and seek safe haven in the distant atolls of Pandora. The decision is one that tears at the heart of each of the family members. That's a dilemma for those characters, Cameron says. So to do what's right for the greater good, or to do your job and your duty of what your heart tells you for your family. While it's unclear what the exact choice will be in the movie, based on these notes, trying to force an either or choice appears to be the wrong answer. There are probably a number of choices the family could make, with the one popping up instantly in my head is Sully sending his wife and kids away as he continues to lead the men against the invasion of the RDA. Nevertheless, the notes reveal the decision he makes after making the long journey across the vast oceans of Pandora. The Sullys arrive at the home of Metkayina clan led by Ronal and Tonowari. There, Jake invokes Uturu, a Navi tradition stating that any refugee seeking sanctuary must be granted safe harbor. Reluctantly welcoming their guests, Ronal and Tonowari instruct their children to attempt to help the Sully kids adapt to the Water Clan's customs and traditions. So damn, they're basically, these notes are giving away the entire beginning of the story. This is crazy. Like, it's not, these are not notes. These are basically like you're getting the story here. I don't really have a lot of faith, I gotta say. Like, listen, like I said, Cameron is a great director. He's fantastic. I'm not taking it away from him. He's probably gonna produce a great movie. But to sit here and pretend like you're shocked at the fact that he's pushing colonialism and now climate change, I think that's a little bit on the nose there. I think you should definitely understand better, Cameron, and to just admit that the guy is just super woke at this point. Like, there's no denying it. Most Hollywood directors and people are. So to be shocked at this is just kind of strange to me. I honestly expected it from Avatar 2. I expected from Avatar 3, and I expected from Avatar 4. So I just expect it from Cameron as a whole in his movies, and that's just something you're going to have to accept if you want to see the movie. And if you're not going to see the movie, then I understand that too. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought of today's story, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.